Welcome to the Sisters Uncensored podcast, where we get into everything from childhood trauma to millennial adulting and all things in between.
We share crazy stories from the past and present to help us cope with the insanity that is our lives.
By sharing our perspectives, we hope to bring some relatability, laughter, and unsolicited advice that can help you survive the messiness of life along with us.
My name's Jessica Labita. I'm a millennial mom, wife, and marketing professional, and I am absolutely insane.
My name is Ashley Lenive. I am a millennial stay-at-home mom, avid golfer, and too mouthy for my own good.
We are real sisters, and this is Sisters Uncensored. Take this trip with us.
Welcome back, everybody. Sisters Uncensored. Today, we are going to be talking about, it's going to be about movies. And let me just preface by saying, when we were little kids, we were able to watch a lot of movies that we realized as adults are not child appropriate.
Definitely not.
Okay? Like, not that I mean anything like gross, like porn or something weird, but like movies that we thought were for kids are not for kids. 100% not. A perfectly good example, Drop Dead Fred.
That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. And I remember like watching it with my kids when they were much younger than they even are right now and being like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe we were allowed to watch this.
So wait a second. If anybody doesn't know the movie Drop Dead Fred, let me just give you a little like background about what this movie is about. It's about this little girl that had an imaginary friend growing up. And it's this British guy with crazy red hair who always wears green, and he's just a menace to society. He's always getting her in trouble, whatever. Anyway, she ends up growing up, she gets married, and her husband leaves her. So I don't know if she goes into like a psychotic break state or something like that, but once she's having this really difficult time, her imaginary friend re-enters her life.
Correct.
And again, starts all kinds of trouble. And she's like basically a full-grown adult trying to explain to people that, well, not even explain to them, but like trying to hide the fact that she's seeing her imaginary friend again.
Yeah.
And he still just continues to get her into all kinds of nonsense, but like grown-up nonsense where it's like he's still the mentality of a kid, but she's an adult. And she's like, you cannot be looking up my mother's dress and like things like that. It's so funny, but it's so incredibly inappropriate for little kids. And we watched it all the time. You know, I said something to Dad about this.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you remember Drop Dead Fred? Why would you let us watch that movie? It's so inappropriate. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know what movie that is.
Oh my God. So, we literally watched it like on repeat
times.
Over and over again.
I know. That one must go on Mom. That has to be her fault.
There were jokes like in that movie that I did not understand until I rewatched it with my kids, like I was saying. And then I was like, oh my God.
I know.
And as a child, they like go over your head. But as an adult, I was like, he's totally like talking about her like crusty vagina.
Yes. Cobwebs. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
Oh my God. That was such a good movie though. I love that movie, but it's completely inappropriate for children. And then, you know, I noticed even like with my daughter, that movies I wanted to put on for her that I know I watched as kids or as a kid that like she would like this. This is such a good movie. Another one is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Let me tell you something about TMNT.
The one with Vanilla Ice?
The like first one with like Casey Jones and April O'Neil. Casey Jones? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many of them.
I know. Well, it's like the ones where they first had like the Ninja Turtle robots that like looked real.
Okay.
So I put it on for her because she's like, I don't know, she's on a Ninja Turtle kick lately. I don't know what it is. But I put it on for her and I quickly realized, like, not appropriate.
Why? Like, what happened?
Well, first of all, Casey Jones in his gray sweatpants, like, put on a pair of briefs or something. Like, literally, there's a bulge in your face.
Casey's like, well endowed.
Hi, Casey. Wow. Well, thank you for wearing your gray sweatpants, but this is a child's movie.
We see your mutant Ninja Turtle.
Oh, my God. I couldn't believe it. Put your hockey stick away. And then there's, like, a scene where he's with April O'Neil, and, like, I don't know. They're tired, they're sweaty, whatever, from out running the foot guys, you know?
Yes.
I mean, listen, you know who the foot is, or what the foot guys are.
Freaking love the foot.
Anyway, a foot, I should say. But anyway, She has on like a white wife beater.
Okay.
No bra.
Oh, I remember that part.
Nips out.
Totally.
I'm like,
Yeah.
is anybody else seeing this?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know. I guess because they're all frustrated, and her and Casey don't really get along very well in the beginning. Like, they're a little kind of
It's
at
like
odds.
sexual tension.
It's definite sexual tension. And he, like, at one point, they're in like a kitchen, and he's trying to get her to relax. And like he went to go rub her shoulders as she's sitting at the table, and she's like going like this, like shaking him off.
Right.
And he grabs her and like forces her down.
Ooh,
and I was like,
ooh.
"Oh no, we got to change this. We got to change this right now. It's not for you. Not good."
Interesting.
Not good.
Interesting. I can think of a couple like movies that I've seen. I feel like Dad used to watch all kinds of like movies that we probably shouldn't have been watching with him as
100%.
kids. Like any Mel Brooks movie,
Completely inappropriate.
I don't even want my kids to see them today. Like I feel like we thought that they were funny, and at the time it was like a different world, so you could do and say things, but like Mel Brooks would still be fucking canceled today if
100%.
he was making movies. I think he was totally racist.
He 100%.
Like his off the cuff like humor was just cringy. Like it's bad. Like,
It's bad.
It's not something today that would be like accepted, I think.
Definitely not.
But like I think about like Blazing Saddles and like some of the stuff that we used to watch. Any of the like, what were the cop ones?
Police Academy.
Police Academy.
Those were. Yeah, you can't get away with some of the stuff that they say in those anymore.
No, and we used to watch them all the time as kids, and we thought they were so funny. And now I'm like, oh my God, I would never want my kids to watch this stuff.
Another, well, I was thinking more of a baseball one actually when you said Police
I
Academy.
also think the first time I saw like full frontal male nudity was in a Mel Brooks movie.
Shut up. Who
And
was
I
it?
think it was Gene Wilder.
That's who was naked?
Yeah, so
Ew.
the guy from freaking Charlie and the
Charlie
Chocolate
and the
Factory.
Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, Willy Wonka's Willy.
That's hilarious.
It wasn't in that movie, but like it was. I will never forget this like ever in my life because it was the first time I ever like watched TV and saw like a straight up dick and was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is on TV. And I was like a little kid, and
who are you watching it with?
it was traumatizing. It was some movie that was just like on the television. Like I don't know if our parents were watching it or what, but I recall like seeing this and being like, oh my God.
Excuse me, sir. Your balls are showing.
Yeah.
Good God.
And especially when in your mind he's like Willy Wonka,
Oh, that's creepy.
to like see him in another role where he's like, you know, all out and about.
Yuck.
It
No,
was
thank
traumatizing.
That's not fun. That's not fun.
No.
I think I know what you mean though, because as far as like, I don't know, could have just been on the, like, you could have just been scrolling through the channels and it came up.
I feel like the times back then and like the movie ratings compared to today were so different. Like a PG movie in the 80s
Oh my God.
versus a PG movie now,
Yep.
not the same.
Definitely not. Hey guys, it's Ashley from Sisters Uncensored. I just wanted to let you in on one of my favorite beauty secrets that I cannot live without, and that is my eyelash extensions. I've been going to Rondi Bleecker with Diva Derm Permanent Makeup for over 10 years. She not only offers the most quality eyelash extensions, but her work is impeccable. She also offers permanent makeup services including microblading, micro shading, brow correction, scar camouflage, lip liner, and blushing. For all of your permanent makeup needs or eyelash needs, reach out to Rondi at Diva Derm Permanent Makeup. She is located at 90 West Mount Pleasant Ave in Livingston, New Jersey. You can find her online at diva-derm.com. That's diva-derm.com. And mention Sisters Uncensored for 20% off your next service. Well, think about it. We watched another one a million times that I know we watched a million times was Look Who's Talking.
Yes.
And I look back at that now, like when I watched that movie as an adult, you have Kirstie Alley's character going to, you know, her boss's office, or was it her boss?
Yeah, I think so.
Who was married,
Yep.
who she was banging,
Yep.
who got knocked up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, like this is so not appropriate.
John Travolta's like just some rando that she met
I
that
know.
like decides to help her raise her kid.
Uh-huh.
He's
The
like,
movie starts off with sperm swimming everywhere.
yeah. So do you know that when like we talk about how our parents didn't really have conversations with us about sexuality and like how stuff happens, and we always have
we never had like a birds
how
and bees talk.
Mom gave me a book like when I got my first period, and she was like, here, read this. She tells us that she taught us about sex and like the birds and the bees by allowing us to watch that movie.
That's not teaching you about the birds and the bees, not in my opinion.
I mean, like, I let you watch Look Who's Talking. You that's how you learn.
There's sperm that goes to the egg. I'm like, yeah, but that's not very explanatory. I mean, how does it get in there?
Right. That was never discussed.
That was never discussed.
Never.
How you plant the seed.
Right.
That's
the seed was swimming before like we had any conversation. But yes, that movie was totally inappropriate for kids.
Not good.
No. I mean, it's a fantastic movie.
I know it is. It was such a good movie. We got to watch all of them. There was like, Look Who's Talking 2, Look Who's Talking 3. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some other ones that I can think of too. Like Major League, I thought was one that was like another one with a lot of like sexual innuendos.
Yep.
That, I mean, it was hilarious. Those are some of my favorite movies. I love Major League. I'll watch all of those. I think Vaughn is like hilarious, like such a great character. But like when he's banging his teammate's wife, I'm like, oh my, okay, this is not appropriate. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for letting us watch this movie. Not appropriate.
No, he always was like a big sci-fi buff, if you recall, Dad.
I know.
Like,
he still is. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah, I don't like it either. But like if you think about like Terminator, Alien, like all those like
Spaceballs,
cult classics. Spaceballs. That was like more comedy. I think that's Mel Brooks also.
Probably.
Actually.
That was a fucked up movie.
I could be wrong. But yeah, like he always had these weird sci-fi movies on, and then like I remember being a kid going to bed at night and being like having like nightmares, being like, oh my God, like the Terminator's gonna come and like kill me with his robot arm when I'm sleeping.
I remember right after Mom and Dad split, like when he first moved out and he moved into that apartment in like Butler.
Yes, we used to do the movie nights.
Yes, we would do movie nights.
So he would buy us all the loads of candy.
We'd go like to the Pathmark up the street and we would be able to pick any and every candy you wanted.
Everything we wanted.
Everything we wanted.
It was awesome.
It was really sick. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then we'd go to like Blockbuster and get a movie. Oh, that's another thing too. Dad got into many fights at Blockbuster.
Oh, remember when he fought the United Video ladies and he kicked the door and they kicked him out and they were like, you're never allowed back here.
Then they called Mom to tell on him.
They did.
That was so funny.
And it was over rewinding the video. And he was like, I rent 100 videos from you every week with these 4 kids and you're going to give me a hard time because I didn't rewind it. What did he have to pay, like a quarter?
I know,
it was on principle.
It was
that
principle.
He was like, fuck you.
He's like, I'm not paying it. Nope. I'm not doing it. It was hilarious. But he would take us to the movie store, Blockbuster or wherever.
Yep.
And we'd pick a movie. And I remember we were able to pick one, and then he picked one. I think that he just figured he would watch like during the week when we weren't with him.
Right.
But we put it on. We ended up putting it on at some point over the weekend, and it was Poltergeist.
Oh, God.
I was like 10.
Yeah.
Okay. And to this day, if I see like a black spot on any wall, I'm like, it's going to suck us in. We're on an ancient burial ground. And like, I was terrified for months.
It's a creepy ass movie.
Oh my God. It just kept sucking you into the wall or the TV or whatever. That was, I had to sleep with like a light on and the door cracked for a month.
When we were kids living in like our childhood home, someone was babysitting us one time as like we were young, and whoever this girl was that was watching us had what I now know is the Candyman movie on.
I remember seeing the previews for that when I was a little kid. And I was like, meh, not for me.
I think they just redid it too, like not long ago, because I remember seeing, like it was maybe a couple years ago that they like remade the one from the 80s, and it still to this day terrifies me. But like whatever the premise of the thing is, like you say the guy's name 5 times or something and he comes out and like basically starts killing everything.
Yep.
Whatever the scene was where like he was released and like started killing people was what I happened to catch. And I remember her being like, you shouldn't be in here watching this. So I guess maybe we were supposed to be like in bed or something, and she was watching this movie, this babysitter.
Oh God.
But like as a kid, that image has been burnt into my brain forever. Like I have legit the same recurring nightmare from that movie scene.
From the Candyman
to this
movie.
day.
That's crazy.
Like, do you have like, is that like a weird thing? Like, do you have like
No.
dreams that are the same over and over again?
Yeah, because I guess I do, but mine are a little different trauma based, I would say. I'm usually yelling at the same person, but whatever. I'm just like looking up like in thought, and I notice there's like a dot on the ceiling.
Oh,
over there,
no,
and I'm like,
there's a
oh yeah, I'm
poltergeist.
gonna get sucked in.
It's coming.
It's
Oh
so
my
funny.
God. But yeah, like I have this same freaking nightmare. I've had it my entire life since I saw this freaking movie.
That's scary.
Over and over again.
I remember seeing the previews for that, and it's like it was like the equivalent to like the Bloody Mary thing. That,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
say
yeah.
it in the mirror.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, to this day, I would never go and say that.
I've
3
not
times in the
even
mirror.
ever like seen the whole movie. I only saw that like small segment. Mm-hmm. It's burned into my brain and has
Yeah, no,
traumatized
thank
me
you.
forever.
No, thank you.
I hate horror movies.
I don't like horror movies either.
No,
I'm not.
My
into
life
that.
is terrifying enough. Like in reality, I feel like I don't need to watch movies to make me more scared.
I feel the same way,
and I have horrible anxiety,
like everybody else on the planet.
Okay, so one time I was watching. My husband and I were watching 30 Days of Night. It's like a vampire movie. This was like recently, like within the last 10 years. And the premise of the movie is that like it's based in Alaska when it's like no sun.
Okay.
Because there's, I guess, like a 30-day period where the sun basically just doesn't shine.
Yeah, from the tilt of the planet.
All these vampires come and like take over this town in Alaska. But it's like one of those thriller type movies where like shit's popping out and they're hiding and you don't know where they are and they just everything keeps jumping out. I had a full-blown panic attack.
Oh my God, are you
watching this
serious?
movie and had to turn it off. That was the last time I ever watched anything scary. I was like, I'm done with this. Like my body and my mind cannot handle unnecessary stress. Like
No, I like
this
suspense.
anymore.
I like
It's not-
suspense, but I don't like.
It's not. This is not like
Scary.
suspense. It was like thriller suspense, where like
But I like thriller suspense. I don't like horror. I don't like.
This is horror.
Seeing like
It's
people
like-
get massacred and like
see, I can
the
handle
chasing of some psycho like
blood and guts. Like that to me isn't scary. It's the like jumping like that.
Well, I don't like that either because 9 times out of 10 I'll have a glass of wine on my lap when I'm watching a movie, like, and I'll be holding, and if it's something jumps out, I'm like, it goes everywhere. Like, God damn it!
Yeah.
I only have 1 bottle left.
No, I can't do horror movies anymore. I see the previews for some of the shit that's out today. Okay, so horror movies in the 80s now versus horror movies today. It's like a flip-flop of the kids' movies. Like, horror movies today are fucking terrifying.
Are they?
I see
I don't
the
even watch
previews
them.
and I get scared. Like, I'm like, who would ever watch this? I'm like, why?
I can't watch stuff like that for fun. Only because, one, like you said, and I feel the same way about like sad movies and things like that.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things in
No.
life that you already have to be sad about or scared of or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like I don't need any imagination added to it. I'm good.
Same.
I only like, I don't know. I love anything based on a true story.
Yes.
I love things that are based on a true story. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
like
don't watch-
documentary things. And like, I can do scary and murder, like real life stuff. But like,
Yes.
the shit I can't handle today is like the spiritual stuff.
No.
There's so much like spiritual
Ugh.
stuff where like, I don't know. I'm
that
like,
doesn't. I don't vibe with that.
it creeps me out. And I think it creeps me out so much because it could be real. Like in my mind, like that could, there's like legitimately
I know what you
another
mean, like about that.
realm of creepy that I'm like, I don't want anything apart. Like, I don't want that in my house. Like, I don't want these. No.
I'm not
none of
even
that.
kidding. When you say that, that's so funny. Like something that could be possible. So like vampires, sci-fi,
Right,
things like
right,
that.
right.
I don't get into because I'm like, I can't. My imagination doesn't go there anymore. I
Yeah.
can't believe it. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. But like I tried watching House of Cards, which everybody's like, oh my god, that's such a good show. But like it's about the government and like, you know, DC and all these politicians and
Yeah.
all the dirty dealings and
Yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And watching that, like I got through like 3 episodes and I'm like, I can't watch this. If this is what it's actually like there, I'll lose my mind. That gives me anxiety. That gives me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah. I don't think I even want to really know what goes on there. Like, because if I again, it's just like not knowing. Ignorance is bliss.
No,
I
yeah,
guess
I
they
guess
say,
so.
right? So
I
like,
mean-
I'd rather just not know.
Ooh, I don't know. That really
'Cause the
that pushed me
reality
over
is
the edge.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
mean,
get
from
it.
what we already see, let's be honest. But I don't know. Another movie from childhood when we were kids.
Yeah.
That like when I watch it now, and I've watched this movie another million times. You know what I mean? Like just growing up, and it's such a classic. I love it. Beetlejuice, but again, not appropriate for little kids. You have Beetlejuice, who is the crudest, like dirtiest guy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the family is so freaking weird. Like, again, with seances and spirits and everything. Like,
yeah.
That's not good for kids.
There's one line in that movie that I remember, like, from being a kid that everybody used to say when he like goes, "Nice fucking model," and he like honks. Yeah, it's so dirty. It's so gross.
That's so funny.
Yes,
of course, I remember it.
And I'm like, I don't need my kids to know that.
Nice fucking model, Hong Kong. I'm like, Jesus. Oh, Pee Wee Herman.
So creepy.
How bad was Pee Wee Herman?
Creepy. So creepy. I don't know if like
he was.
So the movies themselves were creepy. Like
they were weird.
Weird, right? Yeah. Like super weird. But then like I feel like the fact that like when we were kids, we knew that he like got caught whacking off in a
movie theater
made it.
It was like an adult movie theater.
Yes, but still,
it doesn't matter.
Why?
It doesn't. No, I'm saying it doesn't matter. You should not be whacking off in public.
Why do that in public?
Listen,
regardless, like, I mean, they didn't have the internet back then
anymore. Osama ruined it for everybody.
Like, no. It was weird.
That was weird. That, you know what was weird about it? I think because he's like a childhood star. Like, I don't know. You can't do. But that's what I'm saying, like that, and be a child's.
Was Pee Wee Herman as weird as we think it was, the show, or is our perception skewed because we knew he was a creep?
I think the movies and the show were weird. They were overly animated.
Yeah.
His character was creepy. I don't know, like the way he would walk and talk to me. I mean, everyone was like,
man rides a bike? Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And you got Large Marge. I'm like, oh my gosh.
She was scary.
She was scary. Her laugh is like burned in my ears, I swear.
Trauma.
I can't.
80s movie childhood trauma.
Even like when you see, do you remember the scene where like I don't know where they are. They're in the middle of the desert and there's like a giant dinosaur statue or something where he goes and sits inside with this waitress woman with the curly hair who's like in love with him, but like clearly he's not that into her. I don't know. It's like one of those situations.
Yeah.
And she's just talking about how, let's just, wouldn't it be so nice to be in love or whatever he's like completely oblivious and just, I'm like, oh my God, I don't understand how we got here. How did we get here? Like, who thought to bring in the dinosaur?
Was it everyone on drugs that like made this
maybe everybody was just tripping balls. I don't know.
Because that's what it feels like.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Like the whole like Large Marge tractor trailer scene is weird.
I can't with her.
Like you're thinking like, why would you even get in that truck? Like what? Haven't your parents taught you anything?
No stranger
Pee-wee?
danger.
No.
Don't take rides from strangers.
And then like as a kid, you're like, well, Pee Wee got in an 18-wheeler with a creep. Why can't I?
An 18-wheeler, no less. Think about it. An 18-wheeler.
No.
Another one that I think from childhood that was really good, but again, also not made for kids. Maybe like I don't know what age bracket you would do these movies for, but maybe we were just watching them too young. But Kindergarten Cop?
Yeah.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. I was like,
I mean, that one was funny.
It was hilarious, but like as a little kid, I'm like, why is this kid talking about
penises
a ditty and a pee-pee? Like, is he going to get in trouble for saying that?
No,
not at all.
But then that was another one. Wasn't there like it was like an angry dad that was like trying to take his kid back? And
yes.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger was.
Dominic.
Yes. He was
remember.
creepy too, this slick back ponytail.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Right?
He was. Yeah, he was creepy.
That guy, like whoever the
I know
actor
who he
is, every character he plays is like some sort of creepy.
Slime ball.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Some kind of hustler who thinks he's like some kind of boss.
Yes.
He was also in. Oh my God! Kingpin.
Yes. Yes.
Is that what it was? Kingpin. With
is that the one
Munson?
With Woody Harrelson?
Yes.
Yeah, with the hand.
Kingpin.
Yeah.
The hook. I love that movie. That's a classic.
Yes. That's also not for kids.
I was going to watch that with Carly over the weekend.
I think she's seen it.
Has she?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I made the mistake because my kids are older than yours of showing them like all of the 80s cult classic movies.
I know. I tried asking her like a speed run of everything,
Yeah.
like all different movies that we could watch, and she'd seen them all.
Yeah.
Except she hasn't seen American Pie.
I don't know that I would.
And I was
want
like,
her.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if.
I mean, she's older now, but like when I was showing them these movies, they were much younger.
Well, I mean, I told her, I was like, you haven't seen American Pie? And she's like, no, what is that? And I'm like, oh, we'll watch American Pie. But I didn't put it on. And it was like late at night. We were just wrapping up watching Love After Lockup, obviously.
Perfect.
And you're welcome. And she needs to see what it could be like, okay? This is why you don't date inmates. But anyway, it's neither here nor there.
I'm thinking that's something I don't have to worry about with her, hopefully, but thank you.
Listen,
Parenting at its prime.
teach them young. Anyway.
It's a village.
But it does. But I went to bed, and the next morning I was laying in bed when I woke up, and I'm like, you know what, now that I think about it, like the opening scene is like the main character is fucking an apple pie.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't watch this. I'm not
No.
going to put this on for her. And she asked me about it, and she was like, what was that movie you said we were going to watch
Oh,
tonight?
no,
American
that
Pie?"
means
I'm like,
she's going home
"You
and
know
watching
what?
it by herself."
Maybe not, actually. I thought about it.
There
I
was
don't know
some
if it's a good
show
idea.
that you like recommended to me recently. It was like a series on Netflix, and however it sounded, I was like, oh, this sounds like a teeny type movie, like teeny bopper like series, like
What was it?
I got to remember. But anyway, I watched it, whatever it was, and it was not kid friendly at all. It was something recent. I can't remember.
And it was a...
Damn
you
it.
thought it was teeny?
I thought it was like a teen type show, like in like what's the one, Outer Banks or something like that.
Oh.
Like it gave me, and
I
I
love
want to say
Outer
maybe it was
Banks.
like a book series type show. I'll have to check my Netflix history or whatever
Yeah,
to see
check
what it
it.
was. But
I'm
you were
curious.
like, you should watch this, and I started to watch it like by myself, and I was telling Carly about it because I'm like, oh, Aunt Ashley said this is a good show. We can watch it together because I'm always trying
Okay.
to find stuff to
When-
watch with her.
Okay, well, you should tell me that, because when I'm telling you to watch a show, I'm not telling you to watch it with your kid.
No, fair. It was my.
And I know that you watch a lot of things with her, so like that's why I was thinking to myself, like, oh, Love After Lockup's fine. It's going to teach you a lesson
Yeah.
or two.
No,
You want to see some trash? Let's watch some trash. And we actually watched the Gypsy Rose Love After Lockup.
She loves like true crime stuff too.
does.
Yeah,
I know.
And she reads like a ton of books, so she has like
I
an
know.
amazing imagination.
I know. She kind of spoiled, well, not...
And she's very mature too, so I feel like even like what was that, Saltburn? We watched that together.
I didn't watch that. What's that?
Awkward.
What is it?
Oh, it's about this like British guy who goes to college with his he has like his friend from college, and they go home to his like mansion together, and basically you find out that the friend has like a crush on the guy, and like while they're living in the mansion, he's doing like all sorts of creepy stuff because he has like an obsession with this kid. Like, for example, the guy takes a bath and he like whacks off in the tub, and the creepy friend goes into the bathroom as the tub is draining and drinks the water. So and then there's like this infamous scene at the end where
What the
the guy's like dancing around the living room with his like dick swinging everywhere, like completely naked.
Like windmills?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
And like I didn't know that this is what this was like. Like I thought it was like
So you watched it with her?
I watched it with her.
You didn't tell her, like, I don't think this is for you halfway through?
Well, by the time this stuff happened, I'm like, holy shit. And then the last scene is where the dick swinging happened. So by then it was far too late. And
You're
I was
like, close your eyes.
My God. But then part of me too was like, I'm glad I watched this with her.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
if she watched it by herself, I feel like I would have been like, I don't know that. I'm kind of glad I was there
Okay.
as a parent to just be like, ugh.
I mean, yeah, I highly recommend people watch things before they show it to their kids. And I especially say that now, like with my little one, because like usually we have the TV on with some kind of sound, whether it's Bluey, Blippy, Peppa Pig, whatever,
Right.
Paw Patrol, who cares?
Right.
But like I noticed, like Netflix does a lot of animated shows for kids. They have a lot of them, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of options. And I just put one on again, just like for background noise. I don't know if it was like Rainbow Rangers or something like that. But I happened to just catch something they were saying while Mila was like sitting on the couch and watching it.
Yeah.
And it was something that I was like, oh no.
I know.
And like
you can't trust anything. That,
No.
Like I feel like in our day, if it was animated, it was fairly
It was
safe.
good, yeah.
With the exception of like The Simpsons, I think that's when things like started to take a turn.
Yeah.
But like today, there's so many animated shows for adults.
You have to watch out.
You have to be careful.
You have to watch
Yeah.
out. Another one that she was watching that like we put on, and again I thought would be totally innocent and easy, was like the Lego animated show. Have
Okay.
you seen that at all?
No.
I think it's on Netflix too. And so she's watching it, no big deal, like it's fine. And then I sit down and I start watching it with her, and I noticed that like one of the characters is like missing half a limb,
Okay.
like missing half an arm.
Okay.
And I'm like, there's got to be some kind of glitch. Like somebody's getting fired for that they didn't.
No,
Whatever.
they're being inclusive.
I understand, but I'm like watching it through the whole episode, and then the next episode, I'm like, somebody is making this person on purpose this way.
Yes.
And then my kid is like, why does she only have one arm? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, it's a glitch in the Matrix. That's what I told her. I was like, there's a glitch in the Matrix.
Oh.
What am I supposed to say? I don't know how she lost her arm.
I mean, I don't know.
Were you born that way? Was it
Maybe.
a shark attack? Did you get caught in a wood chipper? How the hell should I know? I don't know, but I don't want to have
There's
to
no
explain.
backstory on the character, it's just missing an arm?
Just missing an arm, like
That's-
half an arm.
I mean, that's kind of random.
I mean, can you just not? Can you just not? Do me a favor. Don't make me be in a position where I need to try to explain something that my kid's brain is not developed enough to understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she's just not going to get it.
Right.
All right. And the only reason that she notices it is because now we're 3 episodes deep with a one-armed Lego girl. And I don't know what to say. She was like, why does she only have one arm? I'm like, there's a glitch in the Matrix. I don't know what to say.
I think I would have been like, maybe she was born like that, or maybe she had an accident. I know, like, I get the purpose, right? And they're trying to
I
teach
get it,
kids like
too.
tolerance, and you could see someone out in public.
I
mean,
get
you have
it.
veterans out there who are missing limbs all
I
the time,
get it.
right?
I
know
get
you get
it.
it, but like,
I'm
I also get your perspective where you're like, why? Like, why do
Can
I
we
have
not-
Do we have to, like, can we address this in real life when it actually
Yeah, when it
occurs,
happens.
so that I can give her a true example and not some freaking
Yes.
Lego with half an arm?
Yes.
Because it's not real.
Because it's not real.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
get it.
not like you're seeing somebody who's actually like gone through some horrific experience,
Sure.
or maybe was born that way, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like whatever it might be. I mean, there's plenty of people I'm sure we're gonna come across in life where she's gonna have questions. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Which is fine. But like Lego, can you not?
Yeah, no,
Can
I
you
get
just
it.
not-
I feel like we
listen.
learned about that as kids from Jim Abbott, remember?
Yes,
Right.
Because he was the one-armed pitcher.
Yeah, he was freaking amazing.
Yeah, or he had well, not one arm.
Yeah, one arm.
No,
well, he was
one
missing like a hand. Yeah.
yeah. He was an epic picture.
Yeah, hell
that
yeah.
was awesome.
And like, what an accomplishment. And you see, even with these like Paralympics and stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
They can do awesome stuff. Like, that's a great way to teach kids,
Yeah.
you know, about people with disabilities. Not
Yeah.
a fucking one arm Lego. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
by the way, another good movie hilarious movie that totally not appropriate for children.
Oh, no.
The movie with Johnny Knoxville where he pretends to be disabled or in the Special Olympics
Oh.
because he likes a girl.
Yes.
What was that called?
I forget, but I know what you mean. Oh my God. I watched like so many Johnny Knoxville movies when I was younger. One time me and Dad were at a conference and we actually went and like after the conference was over and watched one of the Jackass movies together.
Like in the theater?
In the theater.
That's hilarious.
There's nothing more uncomfortable than like watching a grown man get like a little
car shoved up his ass in a condom and get an X-ray at the emergency room.
I'm grateful our father has a sick sense of humor.
He
like
does.
We do,
He has a
'cause
great sense of humor.
He was funny.
That's hilarious.
We were dying laughing together.
He's so cute. So last night he texts me, right? And he's like, "Are you watching Real Housewives right now? Or are you watching Real Housewives right now? They're on a vacation." And I'm like, "No, I'm making lunch." It was like 9:00 at night. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm making Mila's lunch for tomorrow.
Housewives
Like,
is over anyway.
I-
Or unless he's watching the wrong one.
So wait.
Okay,
So
okay.
just, all right, relax. But he's so sweet. He's so cute. So he's like, "No, are you like watching it right now? It's on Bravo. I'm watching it." And I'm like, "Jersey Wrapped." I'm like,
Yeah.
So I said, "I'm going to put it on after I finish making lunch." So I put it on, and it's OC, Real Housewives of Orange County. So I'm watching that, and I'm like, "Oh, this is Real Housewives of Orange County." He goes, "Oh, I thought this is the one that you guys saw the ladies at that event."
Right.
And I'm like, "No, this is a different franchise or a different state or whatever."
Right.
Whatever. Either way, I was like, "That's so funny though that you're watching it."
And he's so
like,
cute.
"I like to watch things that I know my daughters are interested in, so I can talk about it with them." I'm like, "I know that's why you're watching it,
Well, we're
and
gonna
that's
have to
what
get him-
makes us best friends."
Watching Temptation Island.
I know, right? He watched Ted Lasso with us.
Yeah.
I love Ted Lasso.
He always watches movies with us.
I know. He always watches anything with us. He's so funny.
He does.
He really is. He's so
the
good
best.
like that. But I thought it was hysterical that he's trying to get caught up on Housewives
I
so he
love
can talk
him.
about it with us.
I love
I'm like,
him.
I love you, Dad. You're the best.
Yeah, he is for
You're
sure.
the best. Jeffy. That was the name of Johnny Knoxville in that movie. He's like, Jeffy don't like that.
Yeah.
Jeffy don't like that.
Well, isn't that one of the things that they say in Hollywood is like either going to make or break you is playing a handicapped person? It's like,
You are either Dustin Hoffman or you are Johnny Knoxville.
like, remember Rosie O'Donnell's character?
No. What'd
Oh,
she play?
I forget, but it was bad.
What'd she play?
I forget the name of the movie,
It's kind of like
but it was no bueno.
Ben Stiller when he's in what is that movie? The one.
Zoolander?
No. Tropic Thunder.
Oh,
where
yes.
he's an actor in the
Yes,
movie and he
yes.
plays that guy.
Yes.
Like,
He's still, like, they do interviews and stuff about him still, because that's another one that, like, today I feel like would never be
You could
tolerated.
not get away with that.
And they want him to, like, apologize for that movie still to
No.
this day, and he's like, no.
no, fuck you. No.
Yeah, he won't.
It's a role. It's a joke. Relax.
I just saw something that, like, Matt Rife has put out another comedy special on Netflix, and people are, like, freaking out because he made some, like, I'm like, it's comedy. Like, everyone needs to lighten up a little.
Stop being so sensitive.
I know.
Even things like The Office, you could. That is
Never.
such a classic series.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah, nope.
Love that show. You could never,
No.
ever get away with that today.
Nope. I know.
One of my favorite parts of that, or favorite scenes in that show, is when Michael Scott gets in trouble with Toby for calling Oscar gay.
Yes.
And he's like, I don't see what the problem is. And he's like, well, because he likes men. And Michael Scott's like, oh. He had no idea, went right over his head.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when he's trying to justify why he calls him gay, he's
Yes.
like, it's like, you would never call a retarded person retarded.
Yes.
You call your friends retards when they're acting retarded. And I'm like, that is spot on, Michael Scott. You are absolutely right. That's how I feel. Bring back the word retarded. It was awesome.
Oh my God. So funny.
I still use it. I don't care.
Aw.
If you don't like it, too bad.
I was actually, my kids were at the water park the other day, and I was like, how was it? Was there like a lot of adults there and kids there? And I'm like, who rides the rides? Because they're telling me all about these rides, and I'm like, I kind of want to go. And it's like in my hometown, it's one of those things like with like Action Park. It's been there since we were kids. I've never been there in my life. I
think a lot of
literally
people died there.
drop my kids off, and I'm like, bye.
Yep.
And I go home. But they're talking about the rides, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I could do this. Like, it might be a fun day to like go with them now, especially because
Yep.
they're older. Like, we could ride the same rides. And so Trey was telling me, like, I was like, are there other grown-ups that ride the rides? And he's like, well, yeah, but like, they're like special grown-ups. And I'm like, what do you mean special grown-ups? Like, I'm thinking, are they like drunk parents? Like, what do you mean special grown-ups? And basically, through the conversation, I realized they're like
Special needs.
literally like autistic
Yeah.
or Down syndrome adults
Yeah, special
who
needs.
come like on a bus, probably
Yeah, yeah,
from
yeah.
a camp, and those are
That's nice.
the adults. But like he was able to like acknowledge that they were.
So wait, let me tell you something, because I have the best story ever for this. You guys are going to think like we're really fucked up, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I feel like it's been 19 weeks. They probably know that by now.
Basically, if you haven't figured that out, you have not been tuning in enough. Anyway, so when I was a little kid, right, or when we were kids, our dad had his office in our house. Like he put on an addition, and there was offices, and our aunt worked in the office
God.
as a receptionist. And or like an admin, she was great.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, you know where this goes. Such a good story. Anyway, it's so true, though. I swear to God. Anyway, so our aunt, who I absolutely love and adore, she's one of my favorite people. She's the sweetest woman ever. When I noticed when I was a little kid that like she always moved very slowly. So like when I mean like move slowly, I mean like if she were to go pick up her phone, it was like she always moved just slow. Her actions were just
Yeah, well, and we also lived with a bunch of psychopathic
we were all
Jersey
over the place.
maniacs who talk
Exactly.
with their hands.
And she just always like, I don't know, she was just very gentle and just always
Right.
moved very slow.
Different
to me.
mannerisms than
Exactly.
we were used to.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
So I was probably like 7, and I remember asking Mom, like, because I noticed it, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to tell her who I was talking about because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But I was
Right.
like, what does it mean when someone like is slow? And
Okay.
thinking like, meaning like
How they're
she's physically moves slow, like at a slow pace.
slowly, or isn't
Yes.
flailing all
Yeah,
over.
she's not manic like us.
Right.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So
Just
mom's
has to
like,
animate it.
what do you mean? And I'm like, you know, like they're just kind of like, they just go slow or like slower.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, that means that they're retarded. And I was like, oh, okay. So hands on a Bible until I was like 14 years old, I thought Aunt Kathy was retarded.
Oh my God.
I'm swear to God. I told Courtney, our cousin, that story, and she was like, she does move really slow. You're right. She absolutely does. But like they were dying when I told them this story because honest to God, I really did. And
See, this is why you have to be mindful of what you say to kids.
well, yes, like maybe just say, like, I don't know, use any other word, but she told me that's what it meant. Basically meant that you were retarded.
Oh my God.
I thought Aunt Kathy was retarded for years.
Oh my
I had no idea.
Poor Aunt Kathy.
Poor Aunt
She's
Kathy.
not.
She's not.
Not at
No.
all.
There's nothing wrong with
No,
her.
if
She's
anything,
a
she's
healthy,
just
normal human being. She just
calm.
is calm. Yes.
Yes.
She's not a manic type A psycho like the rest of us.
Exactly. Which is why she very intelligently divorced out of this family.
Exactly.
Even though we still keep her. 'Cause
Yeah,
we love her.
We did. We got her.
Yeah.
In the split. We love
did.
her.
Yes. She's the best.
All right. I think it's enough. Let's wrap it up. Okay.
Oh, so
God.
80s movies for kids. Make sure you watch them before you let your kids watch them.
Even if they're classics, just give it a once over because
Yes.
there's a lot of things in there that definitely
Ratings then are
Different.
not what they are now.
correct.
It was a lot harsher back then, as far as like comedy
Uh-huh.
and nudity
And nudity.
and language.
Nipples. There's
Lots,
nipples.
lots of nipples. But horror movies today, way worse than horror movies back then. Don't watch any of them ever because they're terrible.
Yeah. Stick to comedies.
Yeah,
I always like to laugh. and
keep
watch
the spirits
movies.
out of your house.
That's right. Exactly. Oh, don't even say that. That gives me like the ick.
The poltergeist.
All right, whatever. That's good. And again, also when you're explaining things that are maybe a little bit more serious to your children.
Yeah.
Don't
When you're
tell them.
teaching your kids about diversity and inclusion,
Yes. You can tell them there's a glitch in the matrix.
yes, be very
Glitch in
mindful
the
of the
matrix.
words you use, or your
Yes.
kids might grow up to think people are disabled
Yes.
when they're not.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's good. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.